the age group between 1 to 8 is one of the most difficult to get to feed and eat and understand why it's important to eat healthy, etc. And I like this question about a routine, setting up a routine. And it is very important to put routines for our children because it gives them predictability. It allows their body to set into a rhythm of feeling hungry, consuming food, quenching that hunger, and then going about what they're doing, feel hungry again, quenching food, and go about what they're doing. So this kind of a rhythm is important for children to feel hunger in the first place, and which will also eventually help them to quench that hunger by eating appropriate quantity of food, right? So setting a rhythm, number one, is very important. Now moving on to how to set that rhythm for children. Setting the rhythm for children or setting that routine for children comes from the parents. It's our responsibility to do that. For example, if I am a parent who doesn't have much routine in my system, I am very unlikely to give that routine to my child. If I haven't set a routine for my meal times, probably my child also has not set routine for their meal times. So firstly, as a parent, we need to set routines for our meal times and our day, because through this, we will be able to, number one, set an example for a child, and number two, give them an opportunity to fit into those routines along with us. It doesn't happen alone just for the child. The other thing about setting routines is we eat at least 3 meals a day, right? And then there are mid meals as well. In some children, there's something we call as grazing. They keep eating throughout junk food, one biscuit now, then one murku then, and then a piece of banana when somebody else is eating, etc. So when this kind of haphazard grazing happens through the day, then at the mealtime, the child is not going to feel hungry. The child is going to get confused. So it is good to have 3 meal times, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and at least 2 mid meals, a snack between breakfast and lunch, and another snack between lunch and dinner. In that way, we are actually giving a child at least a minimum of about 5 comprehensive meals or mid meals. And if we continue to follow this pattern by, say, for example, 8 is your breakfast, and then you go for 12 is your lunch, and evening 4 or 5 is another mid meal, and then comes the dinner. Of course, there's one mid meal between breakfast and lunch as well. So when this kind of a timeline sets in, it's predictable for the child's rhythm, body rhythm. It is predictable for the parent. In that way, they don't have to coerce children too much to eat, come, it's meal time, come, etc. And it becomes more easy on the parent as well as the child. Further, these kind of routines need not necessarily be set like just how I said, 8, 12, etc. It depends on the family. Some families have their breakfast at 9. Some have their breakfast at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. So it entirely depends on the family. Now, how do we go about setting it? Do we do 1 meal a day first, or do we do it as a chunk, like, the all 5 meals a day together you give it? It again depends on the family. If you think it is easy for you to start with the first breakfast or a lunch or any 1 meal as a routine start, and then if you want to build on it, that's. But if you think, okay, I'm going to go with all of it together, it's going to make it a lot more easier for me and my child. If that's how you perceive it, then you go that way. Whichever you choose, either start from 1 meal to all the meals a day, or start right away with all the meals. It entirely depends on the family, the child, and the caregiver. So that is about setting routines, why we must set routines, how we must set routines, and what are the routines we create for our children.